Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are doing good. Today, we are here to discuss regarding Pragati, a preparation by Chandigarh University. Now, before we go ahead with the same, we need to understand what is Pragati all about. So when we talk about Pragati, basically it is standardized online proctor test for students who are seeking scholarships when we talk about study in India. Then when we talk about study in India, we also understand criteria which we need to meet. So we'll be taking you through all those details. We'll be taking you through what Pragati is all about. We'll be taking you through the process of going through the exam. All right, so let's take it forward. So basically, gauges the capability and tenacity of students in applying to study in India. So when we talk about studying in India, we also talk about selection, right? So when we talk about selection, we talk about selection of meritorious students for this very scholarship. Then when we move forward, there's an option for mock test before the main examination as far as Pragati is concerned. Now, the medium of paper, it's very important for all of you to understand the medium of paper would be in English. Now, how will it go further? Before going into that, we need to understand what are the important dates. So when we talk about the exam date, August 28th, the last date of registration is 29th July, and the result would be declared on September 20th. Another date is 2nd October. The last date of registration would be 3rd September, and the result would be declared on 15th of October. Next exam will take place on December the 4th. The important date of registration is November 5th. That is the last date of registration. Then the result date would be 17th of December. Now, when we talk about the exam, we need to understand what is the syllabus for Pragati 2021. Now, it is bifurcated into three, that is verbal reasoning, quantitative aptitude, and logical reasoning. When we talk about verbal reasoning, these are the areas that we need to work upon. One is reading comprehension, the one on which we'll focus today. Fill in the blanks, grammar, paragraph completion, and the inference of that very paragraph. The parajumbles, which are also associated with jumbling of sentences, so we need to align them. Then analogies, antonyms and synonyms that we already have idea about. One word substitution, you need to substitute a sentence with one particular word. Sentence correction, idioms and phrases. So that is what is covered in verbal reasoning. Then let's go to quantitative aptitude. So in quantitative aptitude, there will be number system, LCM and HCF. There would be percentages, profit and loss, ratio and proportion, the average, time, speed, distance, time and work, interests, algebra, geometry, arithmetic progressions. Then when we talk about logical reasoning, we'll be taking into consideration the seating arrangements, the blood relations, the direction sense, sequence and series, syllogism, Venn diagrams, rankings, puzzles, coding, and decoding. So we'll be working on all of these as far as Pragati is concerned. Any questions in this? Then, when we talk about mode of examination, most of the students have this question: what would be the mode of examination? It would be online exam, it would be online proctored exam. The duration of the examination would be 90 minutes. That's the duration of the exam. The type of questions, there will be MCQs, which are also called objective multiple choice questions. The medium, as I've already shared, would be English. Now, this in front of you is subject-wise distribution of the marks. So verbal, I've already shared with you the content, what will be the topics of verbal part, what will be topics under quant part, what will be topics under logical part. So when we talk about number of questions, in verbal, there will be 40 questions and it is based on 40 marks. Quant, 25 questions, then 25 marks on the same. Logical, again, 25 questions, 25 marks on the same. So in total, it is 90 minutes. For correct answer, you'll get 1 mark. There is no negative marking. That means for any wrong answer, no mark would be cut in. Right? So when we talk about the exam, it's important for all of you to understand that what would be the assessment like. Now take the assessment on a laptop or desktop only. So it's very important when you're taking the assessment, it happens on latest version of Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. Because certain students, they experience some of the other issue. For seamless experience, it's very important that you use the latest version. Ensure you have good and consistent internet connectivity, which is more than 500 kbps. Then close all the chat windows, screensaver, etc. That we already understand. For better connectivity, we need to work on the same. Now the test shall be proctored remotely. As I've already shared with you, keep a check on the chat window as well for any communications from your proctor. So please be very sure about it. The candidate is required to follow the instructions of the proctor seriously. Now, the candidate's test shall be paused if there is any suspicious activity or behavior that is observed by the proctor. So please be very careful about the same. Now, in case the proctor finds any suspicious eye movements or any suspicious activities, then the proctor, he can ask the candidate to rotate the web camera 360 degrees to check the environment in which the candidate is giving the exam. So be very careful when you're going for the exam. Now, if the proctor has already given you repeated warnings, despite that you continue with the same, then the test shall be called off. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now today we'll be going ahead with reading comprehension. So Chandigarh University will be helping you with the reading comprehension today. But before that, let's go ahead and take a look at a video. So this is Chandigarh University for all of you. So today we'll be going ahead with reading comprehension. As the name suggests, reading and comprehending this. So reading comprehension, it draws on various skills. So that's why it is a very important part of the exam. So when we talk about reading comprehension, it involves why, the comprehension of the details, the concreteness, and the conciseness. So we need to focus on why as a whole in the reading comprehension. Then what? What is the demand of the question? What is question asking for? What is the kind of answer does it require? What do we need to go through to answer the same? When? Only when asked. When did this happen? Then only we'll be answering the same. So when we talk about reading comprehension, there are certain tips and tricks we need to consider. Now, what are tips and tricks? So most of the students have this question in mind. Ma'am, we have a whole lot of very big reading comprehension in front of us. How do we answer the same? How do we answer all the questions? For that, we need to understand what are the tips and tricks we need to consider before answering the reading comprehension. The first one is to read the entire passage straight through with the pencil in hand. So basically, read it properly. Mark the keywords. Some of the people also say skimming and scanning. Very important when you're reading, just mark the keywords because the keywords generally have questions associated with them. Gather the overview. What is the overview of that very reading comprehension? Now, the reading comprehension can be of 2 paragraphs, can be of 3 paragraphs. So it's very important for you to gather what is the overview of that very reading comprehension. Now look out for the answer choices that provide the accurate passage information. So answer choices, it's very important to understand which choices can be picked for specific question. Never confirm your answer because understand this thing. Whenever we have one tentative answer, there can be another tentative answer as well. So again, review the answer that you want to give. Note how the vocabulary words are used in the sentence. So for example, you have any vocabulary word which you are not sure of, read 2 lines above, 2 lines below that vocabulary words, you'll understand what is that linked to. Or you should know about the root words. If you know about the root words, you would know the crux of, or you would have some idea what that word may be. So note how the vocabulary is used in the sentence. Review all the answers. For longer passages, focus on opening and closing, and do not bring in outside knowledge. If something is not given there, you cannot include it based on assumptions, which is don't make the assumptions. Now, in front of you is a passage. Please read it through and we'll then go through the questions. Again, keep in mind the tips and tricks that I have shared with you. So I'll read it for you as well. A hare was very popular with the other beasts who all claimed to be her friend. But one day, she heard the hounds approaching and hoped to escape them with the help of her many friends. What are friends for? She asked herself, if not to help out in the time of need. Furthermore, most of her friends were big and brave, so at least one should be able to help. For she went to the horse and asked him to carry her away from the hounds on his back. But he declined, stating that he had important work to do for his master. I feel sure, he said, that all your other friends will come to your assistance. She then applied to the bull and hoped that he would repel the hounds with his horns. The bull replied, I'm very sorry, but I have an appointment with the lady. However, I feel sure that our friend, the goat, will do what you want. Now, the goat, however, feared that his back might be harmed if he took her upon it. The ram, he felt sure, was a proper friend to apply to. So she went to Ram and told him the case. The ram replied, "Another time, my dear friend, I do not have to interfere on the present occasion, as hounds have been known to eat sheep as well as hares." The hare then applied as a last hope to the calf, who regretted that he was unable to help her. He did not like to take the responsibility upon himself, as so many older persons had declined the task. By this time, the hounds were quite near, so the hare had to take to her heels. Luckily, she escaped. So the question, hare was confident she would find a friend to help for all the following reasons, except, focus on except. A, B, C, D, E. The question in front of you, what do you think the answer can be? So the answer to this is D. Her friends had promised help whenever she needed it. Let's go to second question. A suitable moral for the story would be, it would be, popularity does not mean friendship. The third question is, what according to the hare is real friend for? Is it for fun, enjoyment, or to help out in time? So it is basically to help out in time. Please think, see if you got the answers correct. For the time, we'll go ahead with another video. So I hope you guys have no questions regarding Pragati. Details have been shared. Showing the details once again in front of you. Verbal, quantitative, logical. Showing these details once again in front of you. Right? So students, as we are preparing for Pragati, we need to focus on 2 other subjects. So let's learn about them in depth. Now, but before that, we can have a virtual tour of Asia's growing university, Chandigarh University.
Okay, getting your point. So now am I audible? Let me know in the comment section. Now I'm audible. Okay, all right, all right. Okay, it's okay, all right. Now I can understand why you are typing down the comment section. Okay, all right. At that moment, the same moment, I was not able to check the comment section, right? So now I can see that. Okay, all right. Thank you for response, Osborne. Okay, all right. So as we all know, we have started the topic. One second, one second. All right. So I hope the PPT is visible to everyone. The PPT is visible to everyone, guys. I hope it's visible. Okay, all right. All right, all right. Thank you for response, guys. Thank you. All right. So I have already discussed that the imaginary numbers are not the part of the Pragati syllabus, right? So only real number we have to discuss. And the number one, The real number is further divided into two things. That first one is irrational numbers, and the number two is a rational number, right? So what are irrational number? What are rational number? That's a basic question can be asked in your exam, right? So what are irrational number? Irrational number represent basically, if you know the definition of the word, there is a terminate, and the second one is, one second. Number one is terminate, and the number two is periodic, right? So irrational number are those numbers which are neither terminate nor become periodic. What does it mean? Let's take one example. We all know the value of the pi is 3.14 and something like that. Okay, what does it mean? It means if we have the number x that is only 3.14 only, so you can represent 3.14 as 314 divided by 100, right? So means what? A irrational number cannot be represented in a form p by q, and where p and q should be integer, right? So in the same way, irrational number means what? Irrational number means, let's take one example. The example is, let's take it is 3.14762891273 ... So you all can see that it's neither terminate. Irrational number are those numbers which are neither terminate. You can see that there is no stoppage here, right? And also not periodic. You can see that there is no sequence which is repeating here. So both conditions are not fulfilled here. That's why we will say that the irrational numbers are those numbers which are neither terminate nor become periodic, right? So let's take a jump to the toward the rational numbers. What are rational number? As you can see that the example only 3.14, right? In the 3.14, this is also terminate, right? After 3.14, there is a termination point, and there is no period here. But if you represent like this 3.141414, right? So when there is a period is also here, right? So when there is a condition that it's a period, and there is no condition that it should be terminate. You can see that 3.141414 is not terminating, but it's a periodic, right? So that's why this is a rational number, right? For the irrational number, two conditions should be fulfilled, and for the rational number, there is no boundation. All right. So rational number are further divided into two parts. Number one is fraction. You can see that fraction. Fraction means what? The part of something, right? Like 3/4. So 3/4 means what? 3 out of 4, right? And what are integers? What are integers? We all know all the numbers which can be represent on a number line. The all are integers, right? And the integers can be further divided into two parts, that are negative number, and the another one is whole numbers, right? So a negative means negative quantity, right? And in the negative number means -3, -2. All the numbers which are less than 0 are called negative numbers, right? And the whole numbers will start from the 0. You can see that in the hierarchy system, 0, and after that 0 to any number, that is called whole number, right? So whole number means what? 0 plus natural number, and natural number is further divided into three parts, that are odd, even, and prime numbers, right? So let's move toward the next slide. In the first slide, we have just covered the type of numbers, and in the numbers we have specially covered the real numbers. All right. So let's move toward the next slide of the classification of number, or you can say the number system, right? So let's take the first definition, that is prime number, right? What are prime numbers? The prime number, you can take the example. Let's say there is a 3. You can see that 3 is a prime number. Why 3 is a prime number? Because 3 is divisible by itself and only 1, right? Let's take another example. Let's say that is 15. You will say that the 15 is also divisible by 1. 15 is also divisible by 3. 15 is also divisible by 5, and it is also divisible by 15, right? So we can see that 15 is 15. The 15 has more than 2 factors. More than 2 means what? 1 and itself, and there's also another 2 factors that are 3 and 5, and that is called, that's why 15 is not a prime number. 3 is only a prime number. Okay, so this is the definition. Okay, now the prime number and the another number which is called composite number. So 15 is a composite number, but 3 is a prime number. Why 15 is a composite number? Because it has more than 2 factors. Okay, so this is the part of the Pragati syllabus, right? So any simple question can be asked from the number system. Okay, so we can see that note here, one is neither prime nor composite, right? Because it's a special category, number 1. So prime number will start from the 2. Okay, so 2 is the only even prime number. We can see that all the other prime numbers are odd numbers, right? So, and the composite number, we already know every number is a composite number which has more than 2 factors. Okay, So let's move toward the next slide. The next slide is, let's take a one example so that we can better understand the definition of prime number and composite numbers. Let's say we have four options. We have the number one option, we have √2. Number two option, we have √100. Number three is 3.14, and number four is 1.5, right? So √2, √100, 3.14 and 1.5, right? So we have already discussed the rational and irrational definition. Rational numbers are those which can be present in P by Q form, right? So rational number are those which can be present in P by Q form. P should be integer and Q should be integer, right? So if you will take the example √100, √100 is what? That is 10. √100 is what? √100 is 10. So 10 by 1. So this is also integer. This is also integer. So overall, we can say that √100 is a rational number, right? So in the same way, if you look at the 3.14, 3.14 is also represent 314 divided by 100. So this is, we are also representing 3.14 in a P by Q form, and both numerator and denominator both are integers. So we can say that this is also a rational number. So 1.5 is also a rational number. Why 1.5 is a rational number? Because 1.5 can be represented as a 15 by 10. And we can see that 15 is also integer and 10 is also integer. So number 2, number 3, number 4, right? So the last three options we have a rational number, but the first option we have √2. This is an irrational number. Why? Because √2 by 1, √2 is not an integer, right? So √2 by 1 is an irrational number. Okay, so rest are rationals. Okay, so let's move toward the next slide of the topic. There's an example. The one more practice question. The practice question is the product of a number and the thrice of its. Okay, so I'm waiting for the answer in the comment section, guys. If you know the answer, tell me the answer in the comment section. Because in the quant section, we should have a basic idea of the numbers, right? Let's say product of a number and the thrice of its multiplicative inverse. So are you able to solve it? Anybody from the participant? Anybody? Dhruv is saying it's 0. All right. Okay. 3. Exactly. Okay. So 0 is not the right answer. Product of a number means what? Let's say there is a number. Let's say there is a number A. So we should know what is multiplicative inverse of A. Multiplicative inverse of A is 1 by A, right? Now, what is the question we have? The question is product of a number. The number is A, and the thrice of its multiplicative inverse means multiply 3 by A. It means if you will multiply A with the 3 by A, so this will become 3, and this 3 is called the result of the question. So the result will be 3. So those who are saying answer is 0, they are wrong. Okay, so 3 is the right answer. So the main point, you can see that in this question, the word multiplicative inverse is important. And it's a very basic terminology in the mathematics, right? So we all should know the meaning of this word multiplicative inverse. So any type of question can be asked on this terminology, right? So let's move toward the next part. This is a good question. We can see that it's a basic question, but you should try that, right? Okay, so this is the question. Again, I'm waiting for the answer. This is a new question. As we all know what are prime numbers. I think all the participants who are right now present know the meaning of the prime numbers. So if you know the meaning of the prime numbers, we can easily predict the answer for this question. If A, B, C, D are prime numbers such that the A, B, C, D, right? There is an order given here, which are less than 16. So in how many cases A plus B plus C also be a prime number? We have to find out this. Okay, so anybody can tell me what should be the answer of this part? I have represented the answer, okay, but I'm hoping you also know how to approach this question, right? Okay, as you can see that I have already mentioned the answer here. Okay, but are you getting the same answer or not? You have to check that. Are you getting the same answer or not? You have to check that. Okay, so let's say the example for the A, B, C, D. All right, so all the prime numbers are less than 16. So you can see that it's 2, 3, 5, 7, and that is 8 is not a prime, 9 is not a prime, 10 is not a prime, 11, right? So 12, it's again 13. All right, so 14, 15 is not a prime, 16 is a prime. All right, so the question is in how many cases A plus B plus C also be a prime number? It means we have to just consider the three numbers out of these numbers. Out of these numbers, we have to consider the three numbers only. Okay, so how we can solve it? And you can see that we have only here four numbers, right? So again, there is no need to take all the five numbers. We have to just take the any four number out of these two. All right, so let's solve it. If you will make pair of these, right? Let's say that number are 2 3 2 3 5 7, right? So the basic idea you all should know. Let's say the basic idea that you all should know is how to make up a pair, right? How to make up a pair. Let's choose any three numbers. Let's say we have first we will make the pair of 2 3 5. All right, 2 3 and the 5. Okay, so in the same way you have to make the pairs 2 3 and the 7. All right, let's make another pair 2 3, and we have 5 already done, 7 already done, 11 we can also take. In the same way we can also take 2 3 and the 13. All right, so in the same way we have to check out, right? So one by one we will choose by this way, and we will add that. If you will add that 2 3 5 5 5 10, 10 is not a prime number, so this is not the consider case, right? So 2 3 5 7 12, 12 is not also not the assumed case, right? So 2 3 5 5 and 11 16, this is also not the result, right? Because a plus b plus c should be a prime number, right? So 2 3 5 and 5 13 is 18, right? So you can see that in this question we have to make up a pair. Okay, so you have to consider all the pairs. You cannot skip any pair if you want to find out the right answer. Okay, so in the same way, like we have first we have to check, like in the first two numbers, right? After that we are finding out the one number out of these four, right? After this we can choose another pair also. Let's say it's 2 5. All right, 2 5. As we can see that here we have chosen only 2 3. So in the same way you can also choose 2 5. 2 5 you can also take 7. You can also take 2 5 11. You can also take 2 5 13. All right, so in the same way we have to find out the pairs and just add these numbers, right? So 2 5 7 7 7 14, this is not the result. 2 5 7 7 and 11 18, this is not the result. And 2 5 7 and 13, this is not the result. Okay, so in the same way you have to find out the pairs and you have to find out the result. Okay, this is not a very it's not a rocket science in this question, but you have to just find out the pairs only. All right, so the first make the pair and then you can easily get the answer. Okay, now let's move toward the next part of our the number system part. Now, after that, we have to check. Let's say there is a condition. We have to check the given number is a prime number or not prime number. How you will check? There is a condition, but you cannot apply this condition for every number. But for the basic question that can be asked in your exam, you can apply this method in your questions. Okay. All right. So let's say here you have to find out n. N is a prime number. Like I have mentioned here. N is a prime number. Let's wait. Okay, so this is the n, right? Okay, so you have to find out this n. This n is a prime number or not. Okay, so there is a method basically. What is the method? Okay, the representation is showing here what method you have to follow. But I will suggest you this type of question need very big understanding, because the number will be big. You have to invest more time. So it will be better if you will attempt this type of question in the end, right? For example, I can give you example why I am saying this. Let's say there is a number 191. Okay, you can see that 191 is a small number. So what is the method? Method is, if you will find out the root of 191. You know very well 191 is not a perfect square root. You cannot find out the perfect square root of 191. Okay, so you have to find out the nearby number, right? So we all know 14 square is 196. So that's why we are considering root 191 is 14. Okay, now what is the method you have to follow, guys? Root 191 nearby is 14, right? So you have to consider all the prime numbers that are less than 14. Okay, the first step is what? You have to find out all the prime numbers that are less than 14, okay, and you have to divide the given number with the all the prime numbers that we are writing down here, right? For example, in this 191 example, we can see that 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13 are less than 14. So you have to divide 191 with all the prime numbers. If you find out this one, that the prime number, the given number is a prime number or not. Okay. So the condition is what? The condition is if the given number is not divisible by any prime number, which is less than the 14. The point is, listen very carefully. If the number is not divisible by any of the number, in that case, you can say that your number is prime number. Okay. And one more point I want to add here. What is the point? Every prime number can be represented in 6k plus minus 1 form. And you can see that in the slide. Every prime number can be present in 6k plus minus 1, but not all 6 plus minus 1 will be a prime number. Okay, so always remember this. Okay, so vice versa is not true. Every prime number can be written down in the form 6k plus minus 1. Okay, but vice versa is not true. All right. So let's move toward let's take one example so that you can better understand the definition of the prime number, how to approach the question. We already know we have to find out the number is, which number is a prime. 33. We all know this is divisible by completely 3, and 33 is also divisible by 11. So we already know 33 is not a prime number, right? In the same way, 81 is divisible by 3 also, 9 also, right? So 81 is not a prime number. Again, the 93 is divisible by 3 also, right? Again, we can see that 93 is not a prime number. But when you will check out 97, so you will apply the same logic. 97 is a prime number. And what logic you have to apply? The same. The root of 97, the nearby number is, you will find out the root of 97. The root of 97 is what? The nearby number is 10. And all the numbers, prime number that are less than 10 is 2, 3, 5, 7, right? So you have to divide your 97 with the 2 also. You can see that 97 is not divisible by 2. 97 is not divisible by 3. 97 is not divisible by 5. 97 is not divisible by 7. Okay. So the condition is fulfilled here. So we can say that the definition is fulfilled. So 97 is a prime number as per the definition that we have discussed in the previous slide. Okay. So let's move toward the next question. Okay. Okay. Now again, sometimes we get confused with the two words. One is prime number and another one is co-prime numbers. Okay. So now we should know the difference between these two. Okay. For example, I'm taking one example so that you can better understand the scenario. Always co-prime numbers will exist in pairs. A single number cannot be a co-prime. All right. So here you can see that the example that I have mentioned here, 3, 4, 3 is a prime number, but 4 is not a prime number. But if you will take the pair of 3, 4, at that moment you can see that if you will factorize the 3, if you will factorize the 3, 1 into 3, if you will factorize the 4, 1 into 2 into 2, right? So we can say that if you will factorize the two numbers and only one is common in the factorization part, at that moment you will say the pair is called co-prime, right? So why 3, 4 is a co-prime? Because after factorization, we are finding out that only one is common. Okay. In the same way, in the 13, 15, if you will factorize 13 and if you will factorize 15, let's say 1, 3, 5, and if you will factorize 13 as 1 into 3. So you can see that again, only one is common in the two numbers. So whenever only one is common, at that moment you will say this is a co-prime pair. Okay. So never confuse with the two words prime number and the co-prime numbers. All right. So we are moving toward the next part. Okay. So like prime, like we have co-prime, like we have twin prime also. The twin prime numbers, we have those pair in which there is a difference of 2. All right. There is a difference of 2, like 3, 5, both are prime number. There the difference of 2. There's a 5, 7, the difference of 2. The 11, 13, the difference of 2. So that's why this is called the twin prime. All right. So let's move toward the next part. Okay. The next part is we have HCF and LCM, right? So in the number system, I have already mentioned at the starting of the session, the syllabus we have to discuss in this session is what is a part of quant and reasoning. In the quant section, we have to discuss what? First thing, we have to discuss the number system. Number two, we have to discuss the HCF and LCM. As we have already discussed the number system part, now time to come to discuss the part of the HCF and LCM. Okay, but before that, let's take a look, a virtual look toward the campus. All right, I'm sharing. 1 second. So I hope the PPT is visible now to all of you, all the participants. I hope the PPT is visible to all of you. All right, all right, all right. Okay, okay. So virtually you have visited the campus, right? So after this, as we have discussed the scenario of the number system, now we are moving toward the, okay. So now we are moving toward the next part of the PPT, that is called HCF and LCM, right? The HCF and LCM, I think you all should know at least the meaning of these two words, HCF, LCM. HCF is what, right? HCF is what? That is highest common factor. LCM is what? The least common multiple. And what is the meaning of these two? We all know, we have discussed the scenarios. 1 second. Okay, so we have discussed, okay, so we have discussed all the type of prime numbers, twin prime, co-prime, simple prime numbers. Now we are just discussing two things, that the word is HCF and LCM. Okay, so HCF means what? The HCF is the highest common factor. The definition, the abbreviation itself representing the highest. Okay, One second. Okay. So we have to discuss now this HCF and LCM. Okay. So here I have taken two numbers, 20 and 24, so that you can better understand the word HCF, that is called highest common factor. Okay. So if you will factorize the 20, so if you will factorize the 20, you can see that here the factors are given here 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20, right? And factors of 24 is also mentioned in the slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24, right? So whatever the common factor of 20 and 24, this is called the HCF. Okay. So you can see that the 20 and the 24. So the what is basically the definition? Definition is the highest number that can divide both the numbers. So you can see that 4 is the highest number which can divide both the numbers, right? So after 4, no number exists which can divide 20 and 24. All right. So that is why the 4 is called the HCF. And that's why if you will factorize 20, this will become 1, 2 into 1 into 2 into 2, 4 into 5, right? In the same way, 24 is what? 1 into 2 into 2 into 4, 4 and 2, 8, and 8 and 3, 24. So the highest thing which is common, that is 2 to 4, 2 to 4. So that's why this is called HCF. Okay, the highest thing that can be common in these two, right? So if you will talk about the LCM, LCM is representing least, right? Like for example, in the HCF we have discussed 20, 24, HCF is 4. Why HCF is 4? Because after 4 there is no number exists which can divide 20 and 24 together, right? So what is the meaning of LCM? You have to find out a number which is first number which is divisible by the given numbers. Okay, that's why this is the word least. Okay, so you have to find out the first number which is completely divisible by the given numbers. That is called the LCM. Okay, so here you can see that 10 and 12, in the 10 and 12 we can see so you can see in the 10 and 12, if you will multiple of 10, you will write down 10, 20, 30, 40 till up to any point you can write down here, right? In the same way, in the 12 also you can write down till any point, right? So you will see that, sir, 60 is the first number. That's why this is called the word least. Okay, so you can see that 60 is the first number which will come in the table of both the numbers 10 and 12, right? So that's why 60 is called the LCM of these two numbers. That is called least common multiple. All right. Now there is again the process that is called prime factorization method we have, right? Okay, after that the same scenario we have how to find out the LCM. Okay, so like in the HCF it's easy, you have to just find out the common number, but in the LCM you have to approach in a different way. Okay, okay, so we have seen that in the HCF LCM you have to just find out the common numbers, right? So let's, the last question that we can understand from the comment section in today class is that you have to just okay, so this is the point. You can see that here the last part. In the HCF, you have to just find out the common thing, but in the LCM, you have to find out those prime numbers which has the highest power. Okay, so like here 2 to the power 3, so that's why you are choosing the highest power of 2. And the another prime number is 7, that's why you are choosing the highest power of 7, that is 1. That's why 8 into 7, 56, that's why this is called the LCM. Okay, so in today's session we have to just cover these two few topics. Number one, a number system, and number 2 is HCF LCM. All right. Now we are moving toward the reasoning section. Okay. And in the reasoning section, we have to just discuss the sitting arrangement, right? In the sitting arrangement, we will start with the, I'm sharing PPT with all of you. 1 second. I hope the sitting arrangement PPT is visible to everyone. Right? Okay. One second, guys. All right. So we have seen that at the starting, I have clearly mentioned one thing that today we have to cover three things. Number one, reading comprehension that we have already discussed. Number two, HCF, LCM, and number system that we have already discussed in the last, right? So for the today's session, in the last, we have to discuss one thing that is called sitting arrangement, right? So in the sitting arrangement sections, we have to discuss the different type of sitting, right? Like for example, person can sit in a linear way. Number two, the person can sit in a circular way, right? Number three, person can sit in a rectangular way, right? So the sitting arrangement can be possible in any way. Okay, so it's depend what type of question you will face in your exam time, right? So the scenario will be same, but you have to concentrate on the situation what is mentioned in the question. Like I will show you today how you can approach the question. All right, so let's start with this figure, right? Here I have represented. Okay, here the first we have to discuss two things. One is a linear arrangement and the double row arrangement, right? Linear arrangement means what, right? Say this is a line and some person are sitting here. Some person are sitting here. It's a number one, number two, number three, number four, right? Any number of person can sit in a linear way, right? So what is a situation that can be added, right? Number one, they can see toward the north side. They can see toward the south side. Okay, so we all should know, if you will represent the east, west, north, south, this is east, this is west, this is north, this is north, and this is south. All right, so you will see that in your exam, this is definitely you will get in which direction the persons are looking, right? If they are looking in the north side, all the person face will be at this side, right? So if they are looking at the south side, all the person face will be on that side, right? If they are looking at the east side, the face will be on that side. If there's a west side, face will be on that side. Okay, so this is the situation. Let's discuss one question so that you can better understand. In the diagram, you can see that in the circular arrangement, this is also possible. Person can look toward the center of the table. Okay, but there is an arrangement also possible in which person are looking away from the center. Okay, they are looking away from the center. This situation is also possible, right? Okay, so generally you will not see this type of arrangement, but the examiner can ask question based on this situation, right? So the fourth one is rectangular arrangement. If there is a table and the person are sitting around the rectangular table, this is the fourth situation. All right, so we have to, you can see that so that you can better understand, there's a diagram for all of you. If there's a north side, if the person are sitting in a linear way and they are looking at the north side, this is the diagram. If they're looking at the south side, this is the diagram. If you will consider the circular arrangement, they are looking toward the center, they are looking away from the center. Okay, these are four situations. And let's discuss one basic question based on the arrangement, linear arrangement, right? And this question is based on the person are looking at the north side. Okay, so let's the diagram is also represented here so that you can better understand the scenario. Okay, with this pictorial diagram of directions, right? So if you will look at the question, there are 7 members here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So any number of person can be given in your exam, right? So right now we are considering only 7 members, right? So they all are looking toward the north side, right? So if they are all are looking toward the north side, and what is the situation here? Situation is F is to the immediate right of E. What is the situation? F is to the immediate right of E. So you can see that here F is immediate right of E. Okay, because if E is looking toward the north side, his right side is this side. Okay, so F is to the right of E. And the next point we can see that E is fourth to the right of G, right? It means if G is here, if G is here, G is here. So fourth right is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's why this is mentioned. E is fourth to the right of G. Okay, this is also mentioned here. Okay, so we have covered EF, we have covered EG. Okay, so let's discuss the next line. That is C is the neighbor of B and D, right? So C is the neighbor of B and D. Okay, so basically you have to read the statement carefully, and you have to arrange the person carefully, so that, because if you will, one step will be wrong, the whole diagram will be wrong. Okay, so let's discuss one question in which you have to solve. There is no solution is given. Okay, So the question is this, okay? The question is, there are 6 friends, the same type of question. They are sitting in a row facing toward the north. The same previous situation is this, right? So C is sitting between A and E, and D is not at the end. B is sitting immediate right to E. F is not at the right end. So how you will approach? The situation is what? 6 friends are sitting in a row facing toward north. Let's say this is the linear arrangement, right? So what is the situation? C is sitting between A and E. So the situation will be like C, E, E, E. C is here, A is here, E is here. Now what you have to think carefully, this is not mentioned in the question. A will be here or A will be here. So you can also consider the situation in which C is here and E is here and A is here, right? So C is sitting between A and E. This is also possible situation. This is also possible situation. All right. Now D is not at the end. Okay. D is not at the end. Okay. Now B is sitting immediate right of E. So immediate right to E is B. Means if E is here, then definitely B is here, right? Immediate right of E. Now you can see that immediate right of E is C here. So this situation is not considerable, right? So in this way, you have to approach the question automatically. Okay, your one diagram will be nullify and the remaining diagram is considerable diagram, right? So the next point is B is immediate right to E. Okay, and the next point is F is not at the right end. Okay, so F is not at the right end means F cannot come here. Okay, and again D is not at the end. So we have how many members left? We have A, C, E, B already represented. So if you look at the diagram, A, C, E, B already there, right? And F, and the last line is what? F is not at the right end, means definitely F is at the left end. So we'll write down F is here. F is here. Okay. Now the question is D is not at the end. D is not at the end. Definitely D is here, right? Now, so you can see that why we are considering this situation, this type of question, because you have to remember that one diagram is not sufficient sometimes. So you have to draw 2 diagrams for a particular situation, right? So you have to find out here how many person are right of D. So you can see that here are 4 person. So A, C, E, B. All right. So let's, I want to show you the quick video in which you can see the campus. All right. So I hope it's visible now. All right. So thank you for your participation, guys. All right. So tomorrow we will meet with the new topics. Okay. Number one, we will discuss a fill in the blanks of the grammar, right? In the English part, we will discuss how to fill the blanks. Number two, of the quant and reasoning section, we will discuss the percentage question in the quant section and in the blood relation type of question in the reasoning section. All right. So let's meet again tomorrow. Okay. Till then, goodbye. So tomorrow we will meet again at the same time. Okay.